And I'm Kenna Whitworth here in Los Angeles. We begin now with breaking news on ABC News Live. A grand jury has indicted former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton on charges that he allegedly unlawfully transmitted and retained classified documents. Bolton has denied ever unlawfully removing classified materials from his time in government. But you may remember the FBI searched his home last month, and it now does appear that he is the latest Trump political adversary to face prosecution after James Comey and Letitia James. I do want to bring in ABC News Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Faulders, along with our ABC News legal contributor and Hofstra Law Professor James Sample. Good to be with both of you. And Catherine, you and your team have been working on this reporting here. The indictment's coming down here, and you talked about how many counts he might be looking at here. Is this a total of now 18 that he's facing, and what are they ranging from?
It's a total of 18. So the first 8 here are alleged transmission of national defense information. The other 10 are of retention of classified documents. Now, what's interesting here in reading this indictment, it's more than 20 pages here, but it details all of these counts and goes through the documents that Bolton is alleged to have transmitted. And I just want to be clear that it doesn't appear that he's transmitted these documents directly to a foreign adversary, if you will. We don't, we're still reading through this to get the details, but that's an important point, even though it could have gotten in the hands of a foreign adversary, because as we've reported, he sent documents on an AOL email account that we believe, through our reporting, was later hacked. So that is how the documents potentially got in the hands of foreign adversaries. But what's important here is that going through, looking at the dates of this approximate transmittal of these documents, it all happened, at least 7 of these 8 counts, while Bolton was National Security Advisor during Trump's first administration. So leading up to when he then ultimately left in September. Only one of those counts on the transmission portion of it was after he left. So this was happening when Bolton was a White House employee during the first Trump administration. And then, of course, it gets into the retention here. It details documents that contain a range of descriptions about their contents. I'm reading this here because I think it's important. Prosecutors say that one document reveals intelligence about a future attack by an adversarial group in another country. That is allegedly one of the documents that Bolton retained in his Maryland home. So not only were documents, of course, seized in that search of his home and his office, it appears that the ones they found were in his home, but they also found that they were transmitted by what appears on a private email server that Bolton was using during his time in the White House during Trump's first administration. So there's still lots of details to learn here, but the bottom line is here that he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland on 18 counts of unlawful transmission and retention of classified documents. Kana.
And Catherine, as you're talking there, we were showing video of Bolton's home just a short time ago. As a reminder to our viewers, it was a search. But Catherine, following up on a couple of things you just said there, in terms of what kind of information was being passed around here and the idea that perhaps there was some intelligence related to a foreign adversary's missile launch plans, and they sort of focus in on these 10 documents. But also, Catherine, the indictment highlights what they write as diary-like entries that he allegedly sent around.
Yes, he was also known to take notes, extensive and copious notes. So it's likely that he could have taken notes from those classified documents, then therefore making the notes in and of themselves classified. So it does refer to diary-like entries. We know that the investigation, at least following the search, but also leading up to the search, did in fact focus on the email server, but also notes that Bolton took. So we do know from detailed affidavits released previously that they did seize a number of binders labeled Trump, for example, on them. So it was going through those materials, including digitally, including all of the electronics that they seized, where it appears that investigators found more of these documents. But it does go into great detail without naming the countries, for example, talking about missile launch plans. I'm reading this reveals intelligence that a foreign adversary was planning a missile launch in the future.